One of the things that we saw in that data, which you rightly pointed out, is really interesting and good to delve into, was the fact that a number of the bus-related injuries, similar to the ones on the tram, were as a result of slip, trips and falls. Is there more that could be done to address this? Is there more that could be done? You know, we touched on the Vision Zero element, but is there a lot more that could be done apart from the announcements as well?
So we mentioned announcements, which is really, I mean, it's really difficult with announcements not to annoy people. Quite a few people said, I know the bus is going to move and obviously I'm going to hold on. Well, it isn't that obvious, because we talked earlier about technology and people with mobile phones and bags, and they just distracted. So there's the customer approach and the whole behavioural issue. We're looking actually at the flooring on the vehicles as well. So as part of the bus safety standard phase 1, which has now been published, the actual anti-slip flooring nature needs to be just right. So in terms of not being able to slip but not causing harm should you, because it can be too rough, is a very fine balance. We're actually looking at the flooring, so we've specified that now. But I think, I don't know if Stuart wants to talk about the sort of general Vision Zero approach. It is about how we train our drivers as well. So Stuart briefly mentioned the new driver training that we've got, which is just about to kick off actually. And this driver training, we've called it Destination Zero because it feeds into the Vision Zero approach. We've worked really closely with the union on the development of the training. We've looked at technology to make sure that if we can't get every driver out onto a bicycle to give them the feeling of what it's like to be a vulnerable road user, we use 360 technology to show them what it looks like to be sitting in the bus, as well as on a bicycle next to a bus that passes closely, and as a pedestrian. We're trying to give the driver the sense of how we all need to play together to ensure that we create this safe environment. So that also introduces the issue around passengers on board the bus, and if you have to avoid a collision, how you do that in the best possible way. So as Sinisa rightly said, it's very, very challenging for drivers. Now, I absolutely feel this. I used to work in the rail industry and drive trains, and I know that you could focus on the line ahead, you had no distraction from traffic, you didn't have to deal with customers, and you could really focus. It's not like that for a bus driver. There are so many factors that affect the ability to concentrate, and our job is through training, development and technology to make it as easy for them to be able to deal with all of these challenges. Sinisa also mentioned the tripartite meeting, and I think, you know, I came into the role a couple of years ago now, and I know that that meeting has been happening for some time, but we're starting to really get into discussing how we can do more for the well-being of our drivers as well. So we're just about to launch a health bus, a bus that will go from garage to garage and give health advice to drivers in terms of well-being, you know, what they can do. And also, we mentioned fatigue earlier, and you'll know that we've commissioned Loughborough University to do some fatigue research. We've just got the initial findings of that back now. So we will be publishing that in the summer. When we've been through it, we've gone through it with Loughborough and we've understood what it's telling us. But that research has involved Unite the Union, our bus operators and TfL very closely to ensure that everybody understands that what comes out of that will not be comfortable for anybody actually. We're all going to have to decide what the best approach is going forward, because it is about the employer, it is about the employee, and it's about how we understand how individuals are and all the different factors that bring together fatigue. And it's about us all doing stuff together. So it's going to be very challenging, but we need to take action. And I think when the research was launched, one of the first things that happened was Loughborough looked at all of the literature available on bus driver fatigue. There's hardly anything out there. This hasn't been done before. We are leading the way here because we realise we don't have enough data and evidence as to what the issues are. So the research has gone into lots of different elements to really start to pull out what we need to know. So I'm really pleased that we've done this, but we know that the road ahead in terms of getting the right outcomes is going to be long and it will be challenging, but we need to do something about it. So all of these things add together to ensure that we protect the public, the drivers and the customers from harm. And I think, you know, I'm really excited by it, but also nervous about the challenge ahead, I think it's fair to say.
No, that's good.
No, I'm fine, thank you. I'll bring it up.
Member Bailey.